Very good. So today on the stream, we are going to play Fuhrerreich. It's been a while since I played this. I think last time I played it was March. So, you know, there has been some changes. We are going to be going down the path that somebody suggested in my little... When I asked people what they wanted to see. Someone suggested it. I'm just going to double check to see who their name was. It was... please let me go to my actual thing. That'd be great. Community. And then comments. Who was it? It was... Nikathanis? I'm pretty sure I'm probably saying that wrong. But they're the ones who said we're going to be... I should try the Turgeski path. And they had the most upvotes on the little update. So that's what we're going to be going with. I am live, Exor. I don't know how well the stream's going. Like, in terms of quality. Please, again, if you're in chat, if the quality starts dipping, please tell me. That's incredibly important. So, first things first, but that's 5. So, we're going to be going down, it's a military coup path. I did kind of go through a little bit just to kind of see how it actually is going to be working. So, it should all be okay. And as Soviet Union, I start with 4 technologies, which is quite nice. Mass assault. I mean, as the Soviet Union, it always makes, I think, sense to do that one. But we got all you going. We got this going. As Russia, at least. Wait, no, you don't start off with the Baku oil fields. Okay, so how much oil do I actually produce right now, then? I produce 34, which actually is not great. We probably do want to increase our stockpile, then, I would imagine. But we're going to go for the infantry equipment first. I think that's okay. Hello, Apple Res. Hello, Diego. So we have right now 25 military, 3 dockyards, 31 civilian. I probably do want to get like a handful more. 3 dockyards is essentially nothing. So put like a few more down here into the Black Sea, and then produce like a handful more military factories, just kind of around Moscow. So we're going to be doing Premier Lenin. Doesn't actually do anything. Spoiler alert, Lenin is going to die. Which can be strange sometimes. So how many men do this? You're 38 divisions. How many divisions do I actually start off with? 108. You know what? That's actually like a ton. So let's put another 8 into you. So it's been, again, like I said, it's been a while since I have played Fuhrerreich. Last time we played it as Japan, and we tried to invade the Soviet Union. So I know that this is going to be, a little area that we're going to have to worry about in the future. Well, you actually already start with like a decent amount of troops in the area. 15, 18. Can I put like a full 24 stack just immediately on the White Russians? I think so, actually. We got you guys up here in the far north as well. So put 2 of you. You can go all the way over to Asia. I'm sure that'll be a great time for you. And then we'll get 9 divisions. And that's fine. I think that's essentially everybody accounted for. You can join this army. You can join there as well. There's just like a lot of people everywhere. That should be a fine starting point. And we're also picking something... we'll just wait for this. We'll make like 1 of them, and that should be fine. And not worry about it in the future. And then we're not training anybody, but that's okay. Yeah, Lenin. Yes, he sleeps in the red square. He's very sleepy. So we'll put you in charge. You're actually the one who's going to take over the country. Again, I can't read Russian names. Except for, basic shit like Konov. That's fine. I can read Ivan. Ivan's a simple name. When you get to whatever the hell, like Konstantin Roskovsky, it's a bit much. But these guys have a shit ton of medals. Wow. Okay, so you guys will be immediately on the Russian Republic. I don't know if there's enough troops actually to order all of it, but I'm sure that's going to be fine. We'll just prepare an invasion like that. Get all of you ready. And then, of course, we have to worry about Germany, who's right now led by Adam Dressler. Probably like Ukraine as well. And, just all of Europe is going to be an issue eventually. So you guys will be on the Ukrainian border. You can be on the Belarusian border. You guys can be on the Lithuanian border. And then you guys prepare for an invasion of Finland. Because I'm pretty sure that's... like, there's a big list of countries that we can eventually expand into. And, of course, we want to take over everybody. Eventually. Fuhrerreich Alpha version 0.3. I know they're making 0.4. And I know that's coming out eventually. I just don't know when. When will Millennium Dawn... I don't know when Millennium Dawn updates. The Indian Rebellion of 1935, and also a massive text of Soviet history up to this point. So the land of the Russians was at one point the world's third largest empire, spanning 3 continents. Although though a military powerhouse, largely ruled in the industrialized Russian Empire, lagged heavily behind its European neighbors. In 1914, after Archduke of Austria was shot by a Serbian in Sarajevo, Russia mobilized to defend its Serbian ally against the invading Austrians. Thus began the Great War between the Russians, the British, and the French against the Germans, Austrians, and the Ottomans. The Great War was a war unlike any other. As the Central Powers' force pushed east, morale lowered, and unrest grew until a melting point where most of Russia was in arms against the monarchy in 1917, beginning the February Revolution. The Tsar eventually abdicated his power to the revolutionaries, who were unable to were in an unstable pact between the Petrograd Soviet and the collectivist led by the collectivist Bolsheviks, and the provisional government led by the Republicans. Street fighting in the advancing German army led to the pact being broken, and civil war broke out to decide the fate of Russia. The collectivist Bolsheviks, led by revolutionary Vladimir Lenin, or the Big Tent anti-Bolshevik white movement. By March of 1918, the Bolsheviks controlled most of the Russian population and had pushed the whites back into Siberia. However, the Bolsheviks were now fighting the advancing German army. Lenin would sign a treaty at the Brest-Litov with the Central Powers, removing Russia from the war in exchange for ceding eastern Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, and Poland to the Central Powers. In late 1918, Lenin barely missed an assassination attempt by a left SR member. This caused him to panic and make peace deals with Ukraine, Belarus, and Georgia, and many other states in the Baltics and Caucasus regions, as well as making a de facto peace with the whites in the Far East. Because of Lenin's fear behind the Western attack, he started expanding the armament industry, ignoring the issues of lacking industrialization and the technological backwardness of the nation. Since then, the Bolsheviks have begun fracturing. Lenin's right-hand man, Leon Trotsky, has begun formulating his own revisionism of Leninism that fought for proletarian internationalism, mass democracy, and then most importantly at all, permanent revolution. This theory was called internationalism. Meanwhile, high-ranking Bolshevik named Vyacheslav Molotov would begin to develop a radically different ideology known as national collectivism, believing that the Soviet Union must gather strength internally and all traitors must be purged. Past Comrade Lenin, Nikolai Bukharin, had become disenfranchised with Lenin's policies and has started to advocate for an ideology that allows workers to control their workplace, as well as liberalization of the Soviet government. A small amount of socialists remain loyal to Lenin, such as Yurikigov, and there were eventually even whispers of a military coup. But Lenin has great plans for the future, but his health is degraded. I'm sure he'll be completely fine, and we don't have to worry about anything. Okay. Thank you, Exor. I think Stalin is in the mod, but I'm pretty sure he lives in Georgia. I'm pretty sure he's like, he can, if the socialists take over Georgia, then I think Stalin can be in charge. I'm not 100% too sure. Or I'm not too sure the path to get there. I know that he can become in power. I've seen it in post on the subreddit. The Fuhrerreich subreddit, that is. Look at you in charge here. You guys just prepare an invasion of Belarus. And you guys will prepare for an invasion of Ukraine. And also, I probably want to put, like, at least one division down near Crimea. How about you guys, right? Well, actually, no, you. We'll split you in half. And you can just, like, hang out here. I'm sure they'll be okay. I'm sure Finland will not prove to be a challenge at all in the future. Okay, so Lenin has collapsed. Vladimir Lenin's health has been decreasing for a long time, but no one expected this to happen so soon. This is a disaster since Vladimir Lenin was the only thing keeping the different political factions from backstabbing and fighting each other, as he was beloved by most members in the Communist Party, regardless of which faction they belong. We can only hope that he recovers and prevents an utter collapse of the Soviet Union, and hopefully ends a political divide between the factions. Well, that doesn't seem extremely likely, so we either get 7% war support, 7% stability, or 2 civilian factories. Right now, we're at 0% war support. But, you know, 7% is not going to change And it's probably not going to make that very good. So I think we're just going to go for 2 civilian factories. But, you know, it depends. Oh, no, never mind. He's dead. Fantastic. So Vladimir Lenin has passed away. This is a disaster, as without Lenin, many of the internal factions of the Communist Party will now scramble for power. Even worse, many groups opposing Lenin are showing their desire to start a protest, and some seem to have the ambition of overthrowing the government. While all this is happening, though, many people are mourning for Lenin and hoping that they will weather the storm safely and that will follow his death. The people hope that while Lenin is dead, his cause lives on. So 50% stability goes down, and the Congress of Soviets are now in charge. So what penalties do we have right now? Political chaos, not great. And also our industrial is garbage. We have like no industry. And I'm pretty sure this gets solved through this tree, but that can only be resolved once this country's stabilized. Which probably gonna take a while. So the peasants are revolting. Peasants have always been neglected by the Soviet government because of their petty bourgeois nature. The stability of the Soviet government prevented them to protest their treatment by the government. But with Lenin's demise and the following chaos, they have finally started to revolt against the government and call for equal treaty of peasants and workers. And another 50% political power goes down, so we're in the negatives. But that's okay. When we were playing Russia in Kaiserreich, our political power went down to like negative 300. Something crazy like that. So the workers are calling for a general strike. The All-Union Central Council of Trade Unions has begun preparing a general strike after revolt of the peasants. The reasons for them planning to do a general strike is the Soviet government's neglect of light and heavy industry and nearly exclusively focusing on the armament industry. They also are criticizing the lack of welfare provided by the state. So things are not going great. Okay, now there's a general strike. Peaceful of anything. Okay, so King George V of Britain's dead. I have my own things to worry about, so Britain can do whatever the hell it wants. The workers unified behind the All-Union Central Council Trade Unions now has stopped doing work and has gone to the streets and started protesting against the government's policies in regards to... Did I already read this? No, it's slightly different, okay. While they aren't powerful enough to depose the government, they will be able to drastically destabilize Soviet economy, as our light and heavy industry is rather sparse. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't great. A lot more negative penalties, but I'm sure we will overcome. Maybe. So what are our troops right now? Our basic infantry are 14 with, so I'm just gonna put like 2 artillery in there for right now. Save that. I don't think are we building artillery? We are. I mean, it's nice, at least that our military's doing okay, relatively. Like, we start with like decent amount of military factories, which is good. So the railway strike. Railway workers have joined a general strike to say, I mean, why does everybody turning against me? I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to live my life. This has turned the situation even worse for the government, as now the communication between different states is slowly breaking together. Like, can you just... Stability goes down even more. I mean, 25% could be worse. We could be at 0. Thank you, Franz Joseph I. Or congratulations there. Clash between the students and police. Students have begun to rise up as most students oppose Lenin's authoritarian policies. The government has been sending in the police to suppress them. This has resulted in a violent clash between the students and police. While the police are winning most of the fights, it cost much popularity. So, I mean, we're still like 91%. No, we're at 45%. But is this... I guess actually it might be adding all these together. So demonstrations in favor of the government. At the start of the general strike led by the All-Union, by the trade unions, a lot of people came out in opposition to the general strike, seeing it unnecessary to cause more instability for these trying times. So I mean, that's one good thing. You know, 3% stability. Why? I don't need more penalties. The deep political crisis following Lenin's death has finally taken its toll on the economy, causing another utter economic collapse. As workers and peasants are revolting, most factories left empty with no one to work, and most farmland is now fallow. We can only hope that we will be able to weather the storm and rejuvenate our economy and finally start a grand industrialization campaign. So, yeah, I mean, not great. Not going well. Assassination. Who are you? This is Turkey. I don't care about them either. And now people aren't buying Pravda. That's the worst. Okay, so Kirov has called for unity and stability. Sergei Kirov has held a speech. In his speech, he calls for unity of the people behind the state in order to end the anarchy and chaos and bring back stability to the state. Since Kirov is very charismatic, his speech has big success. Because of the success of his speech, his standing politically has improved quite a bit, making him a serious contender for the office of premier. mean, we're still in the negative political power. But that's okay. I'm hoping nobody... God damn it, Trotsky. Rumors of a planned takeover led by Leon Trotsky has been surfacing. This has caused many politicians to be anxious that Leon Trotsky is extremely popular and powerful, with the opposition of most other politicians being his biggest hindrance to gaining power. So, I mean, it's only February. It's been a month and a half, and everything's been breaking down. A meeting has been called between important generals like Marshal Verlos, Marshal Fruns, and Marshal Tuskatsky, and Yehov, leader of the OGPU. Since many important politicians and generals attending the meeting, there's been a lot of rumors and discussion regarding the topic, but no information has been leaked or released. Well, I already know that they're going to be doing a coup because I'm going to, choose that option. And now Molotov, Bukharin, and Zinoviev have formed an alliance themselves. That's okay. But, the strikers have given up. Could you play as USR? I've never played, is it Rise to 50, what's it, Road to 56? I've actually never played it. So the Soviets have endorsed Kirov. The Soviets have endorsed Kirov as the preferred premier of the Soviet Union. The reasoning for the endorsement were strong followings of Lenin's ideas from the Soviets. It's fine. Everything's going okay. We're not training up any troops right now, but I don't think we need to. Got 15,000 days so we can make enough rifles. So we're making 10 guns a day right now. Because we have a negative, what is that, 41% penalty? So the fate of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has had no real leader since Lenin's death, and this has caused the situation to escalate dramatically. Because of this, there has been whispers of dissent and coups, with meetings between important generals making people worry that they are planning a military coup. Kirov has also gotten the chance to become the new premier, but the workers might oppose him because of his strong followings of Lenin's ideas, which most of the workers oppose. Then there are Bukharin, Molotov, and Zinov, who have formed an alliance to bind together by the opposition of Trotsky. Well, the Red Army is going to march on Moscow. I'm sure that's okay and nobody will complain. Again, I can't do anything. None of these folks are available until... So we stormed the capital. Mikhail has stormed Moscow, our capital, and declared a state of emergency as he accompanied by a few of his most loyal troops and some high-ranking generals, some of which were marshals Voroshilov and Fruz. Okay, so basically, war support goes up by 5%. That's not bad. 5% is okay. It's still, what, a negative 44% mobilization speed? And that's not great. The arrest of Kalin. As of today, Chairman Kalin has been put under temporary house arrest, and Mikhail Fruz declared as temporary chairman. This move has caused great outrage, with many denouncing the military coup as illegitimate, but Cherkassky himself refuses to step down and asserts that it is his duty to protect his motherland from Trotskyism. And the economy, the economy's recovered a little bit. Economic breakdown is going away. And that seems pretty good. Thank you very much. Did it get replaced by anything? No. Okay, so... maybe now we can start getting somewhere. Eventually. Fingers crossed on that one. And when do... I know there's going to be some pop-ups here. Eventually. I think once we actually claim Cherkassky as the leader, then we should be able to get some events to kind of stabilize the country as much as humanly possible. Dukashevsky. Okay. Nearly all divisions have deserted in favor of the opposition. However, the lack of coordination and distrust between most of these have not yet accepted Tukhachevsky